Just last month, American and Chinese officials shook hands in Geneva announcing a surprise 90-day truce in their trade war. The US slashed tariffs on Chinese goods from 145% to 30%, and China dropped its retaliatory tariffs to 10%. For a brief moment, optimism surged, business leaders hoped for stability, and headlines spoke of de-escalation. But beneath the surface, mistrust lingered. The core issues, intellectual property, market access, remained unresolved. Skeptics warned the deal was vague, lacking real commitments. Within weeks, the truce unraveled. Accusations flew. China said the US violated the spirit of the accord with new tech restrictions. US officials claimed China blocked key exports with non-tariff barriers. The total reset quickly became a total mess. The brief hope evaporated, replaced by renewed tension and a sense that the conflict was spiraling out of control. The Geneva handshake, once a symbol of hope, now felt like a distant memory. The world braced for what would come next. The calm was just the quiet before an even bigger storm. The stage was set for a new, more dangerous phase in the US-China rivalry. The truce, it turned out, was only a pause. The real battle was just beginning, and it would soon move far beyond tariffs. The real shock wasn't a tariff, but China's move to tighten control over rare earth minerals. In April, China imposed strict export licenses on these elements, which are essential for everything from smartphones to fighter jets. China processes nearly 90% of the world's rare earths, giving it immense leverage over global industries. These minerals power green energy, advanced electronics, and crucial military systems. By restricting exports, Beijing gained a powerful bargaining chip, one that directly threatened America's tech and defense sectors. The US military, automakers, and clean energy firms all depend on these minerals. The message from China was clear: challenge our tech sector and we'll squeeze your supply chains. This wasn't just economic pressure, it was a direct challenge to America's security and industrial base. The rare earth gambit changed the game. The trade war had a new, more dangerous front. The impact was immediate. Ford's Chicago plant halted production of its Explorer SUV. Not from lack of demand, but a shortage of rare earth magnets. Thousands of workers faced layoffs. The shockwaves hit aerospace and defense, with Boeing warning of risks to both commercial and military projects. The crisis exposed a painful truth. America had offshored rare earth mining to China for decades. Rebuilding domestic supply would take years and billions in investment. In the meantime, US industries were at Beijing's mercy. Lawmakers scrambled for solutions, but alternatives were limited and slow to develop. The rare earth squeeze wasn't just an economic headache, it was a national security emergency. The Pentagon, manufacturers, and workers all felt the pain. The dominoes were falling, and the vulnerability was clear. The trade war was no longer abstract. It was real, and it was here. The stakes had never been higher. The conflict escalated into a full-blown tech war. As China squeezed rare earths, the US struck back, blocking China's access to advanced semiconductor chips and the software needed to design them. The goal: slow China's progress in AI and high-tech industries. The US also revoked visas for Chinese students in sensitive tech fields, tightening the blockade. China saw this as an attack on its future, responding by doubling down on rare earth controls. Each move fueled a cycle of escalation, with both sides decoupling their economies and building rival tech alliances. The US coordinated chip export controls with allies. China poured billions into its own semiconductor industry. This was no longer just a trade dispute, it was a struggle for technological supremacy, with both sides leveraging their strengths in a zero-sum contest. The space for compromise was shrinking fast. The world's two largest economies were locked in a dangerous standoff. The outcome would shape the future of global power, and the clock was ticking. With the Geneva truce collapsing, a new deadline loomed: August 12, 2025. If talks failed, tariffs would snap back, risking a global economic shock. Negotiators met in London, but trust was gone. The same issues, tech blockades, rare earth access, remained unresolved. Neither side would back down. The world watched as the standoff deepened. Failure in London could split the world into rival economic blocs, unraveling decades of globalization. The stakes were more than just higher prices, they were about security, alliances, and the future of the global order. As the deadline approached, uncertainty reigned. Would the world plunge into a deeper trade war, or find a way back from the brink? The answer would affect everyone, from factory workers in Chicago to tech entrepreneurs in Shenzhen. The world held its breath, waiting to see what would come next.